How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Backstop Built channel. Today, I have another interview with a player that went through the Backstop Built program and has worked with me within this last 6 months to improve his skills. This is going to be Nate, and I am so excited to share his specific story as I do this with all my clients. His is very, very unique, and I'm excited for you to hear from him. This is a guy that I grew a great relationship with being in the program. And I think anyone who listens to this can look in the mirror and challenge himself to get better no matter what, as that is what Nate was able to do in his situation with the time he had left in high school. So let's hear from Nate and everything he has to say.
What up? I'm Nate Sheringhausen. I'm a catcher from Hillsboro, Oregon. Just graduated, currently uncommitted. I worked with Brock for the last 6 months. Loved his program, loved how he was always interacting with me, and just all the constant communication, feedback, and how everything was laid out for me every day.
Absolutely, dude. No, I know you were a guy who really enjoyed the program. You kind of were a very attentive player that I've worked with, and had a very specific work ethic of you respond very quickly, which is awesome. I love that, and I know
Yeah.
you like it. You had some really good updates often, so dude, that helped me a lot as a coach. But let's not give away all the secret sauce just yet. And let's start with before you and I were working together, where were you in your catching career, your baseball career, and some of those struggles you were having?
I mean, my baseball career, I was uncommitted, still uncommitted, no offers, no interest, no coaches hit my line. I mean, my catching career I wasn't bad, but I definitely was not where I wanted to be. I was pretty consistent with my blocking and my framing, but I knew there was room to improve. Also, my pop time was just so bad. It was bad. And I think my one thing you helped me with was my leadership and communication as well.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah. I mean, there was definitely some, I would say a few key pieces that needed improvement, which was totally fine. I mean, I think every catcher has those, but your ability to look in the mirror, like I said earlier, and realize, okay, I need help and I need to improve them is the first step. And then working towards that is the second main part. And you did both of those, which was awesome. So, you know what? Let's give them a rundown of your high school career so they fully understand like kind of your journey. What teams you made freshman, sophomore, junior year. You were obviously the starter this senior year, played every day, but kind of go through that journey and whatever struggles or success you had before then.
Yeah, so my freshman year, I was on JV. I caught probably 90% of the games. Then other games, I was playing shortstop. And then my sophomore year, I started on varsity. I started 25 out of 26 games at third base. I really struggled that year mentally. I mean, it was just a huge struggle. Uh, even on the field too, I wasn't great at third base, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I hit horrible, like just so embarrassingly horrible. But I mean, that year was kind of what pushed me to where I was now because I think it was what I hit like 130 that year. Junior year, I was on varsity, started at third again, and I got benched halfway through our league season, and that was kind of a struggle mentally because I was just like, I don't really know what to do. And then I hit that summer, fall, this last summer, fall, and winter. Just I was like, dude, I got to turn something up, and I need to make changes now. And then this year, I played 24, or no, I played 22 or 23 games. Fought all those games. I hit 330 with like a 450 on base percentage. Caught 120 something innings with two passed balls. I think I threw out 12 or 13 guys. Yeah, it was a big leadership role this year. There was three seniors. I was one of them. I mean, one of them was a pitcher who started on Wednesdays. Another one came out of the bullpen, but consistently playing every single day. I was the only one. And so we were just very young, very inexperienced, and that tested my leadership a lot. And this year was great for that. And I mean, I got honorable mention all league catcher, which that is what it is. I probably I felt, and so did my teammates. We all felt that I probably should have at least gotten second team, but
Dude,
yeah,
I think with your story, it's going to speak to many because the fact that you weren't even a catcher technically in high school, like that's the position you always wanted to play, right? But
yeah,
that wasn't the position you were being played at. So the fact that even your junior year, you're a third baseman on varsity, or yeah, and then now your senior year, we were able to work. Nate came to me in between his junior year and senior year about right in the end of fall, I believe.
right around
And
Thanksgiving. Yeah,
right around Thanksgiving, and he was just like, "No, I have a goal. I think I can be the starter this year, but I need to get really good because I want to start getting offers and I want to play every day on varsity." And I feel like he knew the direct path, and I was like, "Okay, perfect. Like this is going to be great for you." And I truly believe that he needed the program for sure, just where he's at, and just with skill stuff. And then for him to make that comeback is absolutely insane. Like I think you're underselling it a bit just because you're being humble, which is awesome. But dude, like to go from third base your junior year and not hitting very well at all to the results you had this year as a catcher as well is insane. That's pretty unheard of. So that's awesome, man. And that kind of leads me into let's talk about the specifics real quick of your blocking, throwing, receiving, where they were before you were working with me, and that leadership.
yeah. So my blocking mechanically was just so flawed. Like, I remember my first videos I sent you when we were doing assessments for the first time, and I thought I was blocking good because I was actually keeping the ball in front. You're like, nah, dude, like, this is totally out of whack. I was like, oh, okay. Um, but I mean, we fixed that and made those small adjustments what they were and kept working every day. My receiving, my receiving was, it was it wasn't as bad as my blocking was because that's what I worked on the most. And I mean, I still was definitely a little flawed and had a lot of things to work on. And we just made kept making small adjustments, and just kept doing that. Then my throws, I mean, my arm strength was horrible. The throwing program you gave me just saved my life. My arm strength was so bad, and it was just like last summer I would be happy to throw it on a line, not hopping it to second base. It's just like it was that bad, and then we fixed my transfer and my footwork and all that, and it paid off. Like I hit a 1.9 in game. I was consistently like a 1.94 to 1.9 like 1.99 all year, and that was huge.
Oh yeah, dude, you were hosing dudes out in your evaluations, or the video you'd send in for evaluation was awesome. Like
Yeah,
I started to love how you got a little cocky and confident when you would like it would release your hand and you're running to the dugout already. That
yeah,
was awesome to see for sure.
yeah,
And as a coach, that's really cool to see because yeah, throwing was something that you definitely were, I could say, like self-conscious about that you it was just made aware to you that you're like, hey, it's not one of my strong suits at all, something holding me back.
yeah.
um and it's definitely what college coaches are looking at nowadays for sure. It's a key component. Um but yeah, absolutely. What would you say some of the adjustments you and I made, more so for the leadership, that helped you become more confident with your overall skills and as a catcher back there?
I think some of the adjustments we made leadership wise was really just a lot of working with pitchers more, really just like communicating with them, working with them, talking. This, I think we had a conversation about, how to act with pitchers and talk bullpens, use bullpens, and transfer those talks and skills to the game, and that helped a lot. And I don't know if we did, but I think one big adjustment I had to make this year was just my patience with guys, because it's like we started three freshmen, three sophomores, and it's like a lot of inexperience. And I don't know if we talked about it, but that was a big leadership adjustment I had to make, was just my patience and kind of more turning into just like a helper with the younger guys. Like we had a freshman catcher who backed me up all year, and I got hurt towards the end of the year, couldn't play. I think it was three, no, it was two games. And it was like I got hurt on Tuesday and he was starting on Wednesday. And like before the game, I was helping him Thursday, all day Thursday. I was like in the bullpen with him. We were working on receiving, literally stuff you taught me. Those adjustments you told me, I transferred with him, and that was a big leadership thing that I think I made an adjustment to this year was kind of leaving my mark that way.
Dude, I think that's so cool, and that's like the epitome of what it means to be backstop built. Not
Yeah.
even just your physical skills, but to be that guy that people can rely on. And the fact that you were focused on that in a year where this is your big opportunity to be the starting catcher finally, and it's your last year, it's your senior year, and you prioritized helping others, that's really, really cool, dude. And that's going to serve you going into college when you commit here soon and from the options you have. And I think that's something that no one could take away from you, and that's awesome as a coach to see, dude. So let's kind of shift gears from kind of the results you saw. I know you're happy with all those, the blocking, the throwing, receiving, and the fact that you only had two pass balls this year. You know, the fact that you were consistently throwing 194s and hosed a handful of runners, and your receiving just looked awesome, dude. I actually felt bad for some of the umpires because of the film you're sending. I'm like, dude, you are fooling these guys so much. Like, this is actually insane. Like, I probably feel bad for the other team because, and it wasn't like that they're necessarily bad. Like, obviously, high school umpires aren't the best out of the barrel, but dude, you're like you just had really good flow and really good motion, and it was a direct reflection from the videos you were sending me in training, and then to see you do that in game was
Yeah.
awesome. That was great. Anything else you want to say about the specific results before we shift into the program?
Yeah, I mean, one thing with my receiving is I know people say it doesn't happen overnight, but honestly, there was one day with my receiving where it literally just happened overnight. I saw a video of Austin Wells receiving and watched his glove motion, how he loaded his glove, and I looked at that specifically, turned that into the next day of my training, and it was just like it was smooth sailing from there, just on cruise
Yeah.
control. Because before that, I was still having a little bit of issues with my receiving, and then I watched Austin Wells one video. It was like a 20-second video. I think you posted on your story, and I was like, a light bulb just switched on in my head. Like it just clicked.
Sometimes it just takes a. I know you're a Yankees guy too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Same. So yeah, for sure. No, that's cool, dude. I'm glad you're happy with the results from where you were. The fact that you weren't even thought of as a catcher in your program and you were a third baseman, just kind of that backup. And then your senior year comes around and you earn that spot and then you kept it every day. And that's something for anyone watching, I like to say is it's not about getting the spot, it's about keeping it. Anyone can get it for a day, but it's about making sure that that stays yours. And that comes from consistency and trust between you and your coach and your pitching staff. And that's what Nate was able to do. So let's talk about how you got that and what the program was able to help you with. So I want to start with this. What was your experience like inside the program? And what do you have to say to anyone about how the program works?
Dude, the experience was just great. Like it was a million times better than I could have ever imagined. I mean, having my workouts laid out for me every single day, my blocking, throwing, transfers, receiving, whatever it was laid out in the morning, and I had to get it done, and I'd send some video, you'd send me an eval back, and it's just smooth sailing. I mean,
Awesome.
I don't know how else to say it. Like, it was just so set up and structured, just so perfect, and everything was just right there. There was days where it's like, I gotta go do my catching, but then it's like, I gotta go do my catching.
Yeah, finding that work ethic is something I found every time I do a interview with players is like even guys who've worked hard in the past, they say like through the program, what you pretty much just reflected was how they found like a joy for catching training and maybe there's a sprinkle in there because you're seeing results, so that obviously makes training more fun, like when you know you're getting better. But dude, no, I appreciate all the love about the program. I spent so much time making it in depth that for you to say that is like that's what I want everyone to say. But dude, the fact you truly believe that is super cool. And let's kind of talk about how it's remote. So this is a big one that
Yeah.
everyone freaks out about. And I get it, I'm a guy on the internet trying to help catchers, and they're probably like, how does this guy even do it? How are these guys getting results? So I wanted to ask, let's start with this. Have you worked with an in-person catching coach before? If not, have you done like group work with a catching coach at your high school? What did your catching training look like before you worked with me?
I mean, it was just kind of like work here and there at high, like just doing everyday drills at high school. Um, and then club team, I mean, we worked with a catching coach at the facility we worked at like, I don't know, two or three times. And like what he had to say was good, but I never truly had like a set catching coach before you. And I was super skeptical about the whole remote thing. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work yet, but I was like, honestly, what do I have to lose? It's worth a shot.
That is just, sorry, that's so funny. Everyone says that same word, skeptical. And I get it, but you know the difference between you and the guy watching this right now who's also skeptical is you took action. And that's
Yeah.
one thing you can say. A key trait you also just said was, what do I have to lose right now? The reality is, what were you doing before you met me that that was gonna help you? It sounds like just here and there, maybe through the high school. When you finished like your day each day, Nate, I wanted to ask you this. Did you feel like you knew you should be doing more for your catching stuff?
Yeah, like I knew I should be doing more, but it's like I literally had no guidance.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to go in the backyard and do 100 reps the wrong way because now that's just a waste of time. You might as well not do any reps if you don't know if you're doing it right. That's awesome, dude. I think that's going to speak to a lot of people watching this right now. So let's go into who is this program for? What type of catcher do you think would get the best benefit out of this program?
Someone who knows they have stuff to work on and who has a strong work ethic. I mean, honestly, I think that's the only two things you need, just to realize you have stuff to work on and a strong work ethic.
Absolutely. Like I try and portray so much of like, dude, I put in so much effort for this. I want to carry that burden and load. Like, just literally follow along. Like,
Yeah,
just try and keep up and do what you can do each day. And no, that's awesome. So on the flip side, who's this program not for?
lazy people. I mean, for lack of a better term, if you're lazy, it's not for you. You're not going to put in the work. You're not going to put in the work, not be coachable, not really just like, I'll miss a couple workouts here and there just because I don't really care. It's not for you. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money.
Now, I wanted to ask you this, kind of piggyback off both those is, would you recommend this program to someone else who's a catcher, like someone you know who,
Oh yeah,
um, okay,
yeah. No, I already have. I don't know if he texted you, but I was like, dude, if you wanna catch really well next year, hit my boy Brock up. Do it like
nice,
do it ASAP.
nice, dude. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I truly believe in what I have. I believe it can serve every catcher out there who is not lazy. Back
Yeah,
to your point. If you're lazy and you know you're lazy, please do not hit me up. It is going to be a waste of time for both of us because this works as well as you do. And I don't want to guide or have to motivate someone who's lazy. So if you are curious in this and you know you are very lazy, please do some soul searching beforehand, figure out why you're lazy. But also, I will say everyone who even does have a work ethic, they find an even deeper one going through the program. That's a common thing I hear.
100%.
Yeah, like you were a hard worker before, dude, but I feel like after this, you were like, oh, that's what a regimen like that looks like, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. When you compare like training about 30 minutes each day doing my drills to the results you got, does it seem like a no-brainer?
yeah. Like, dude, even I would. I there's just so many words I could use to describe this. Like,
Do it. Do it.
if I
What do you got?
could, I would work for. endless amount of hours just to see micro results. Like there is so the return on investment is just crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it
It,
it's insane. I was so like I don't know if this is gonna work, and I'm now like it took me a day in the program for me to be like, yeah, this is it. Like I went up to my dad a day after. I was like, Dad, we money well spent. Like this is gonna be good.
yeah. No, I appreciate that. I think I surprise a lot of people because again, Um, in our digital age, there's a million people on Instagram who claim to be a coach who has a remote program and they're just dipping their toe in. Like, I think the second people get in day one and they see everything they have, they're like, oh, this is like, okay, this is real. There's like a set curriculum and all that. Um, dude, no, that's awesome. And back to your point where you said like you were working so hard with just a minimal return. That gets so hard after a while because, dude, it affects your confidence. Because when you put in a lot of work, you expect something back. You are expecting a result. It's a true XY variable of if I do this, I'm going to get this. And that is a mindset. And I think a lot of players need to have that mindset for sure, but they miss a key part in between that little equal sign. And to me, that's like doing it right in that proper evaluation in order to get that. And not a lot of people are having that. So when you work so hard, let's say you're doing 100 reps in your backyard on your own, and you're like, I'm working hard, I put in my music, I'm throwing as hard as I can. And then now you go in game and you don't get that result, you're actually going to be more unconfident than you were beforehand because you were expecting something and now you don't get it and now you're more confused. So that's where a lot of people watching this are probably in right now. I was in that too as a player. Nate was in that as well, and that's why I decided to create this. So let's go into a funny question. In the original question I had for you, but you kind of answered it before, which was cool, was what beliefs did you have about online training before working with me? And I know you said you were skeptical, and I know you said you didn't know, um, what to do or if this was going to be worth it. And you definitely answered that. But I want to kind of piggyback off that question and say, if you had to compare remote to in-person training, what would you have to say?
I say the only difference between remote and in-person training is the instant feedback within a second. If we were working in person, literally the only difference would just be if I did one bad rep in person, you tell me instantly, but I mean, you don't see every rep I do online because I'm not recording all my sessions and I'm only sending you, I mean, I'm sending you good and bad stuff, but like you're just seeing little bits and pieces compared to in person, you're seeing everything.
Yeah.
And that's the only difference.
So which one would you say you like better?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I still think remote because I like I like being able just to get work done when I got to get my work done compared to if I was in person where I'm on your schedule where like I can't be where I'd go catch. I mean, I'd send you videos at like 10:15 at night where I'm catching at 9 o'clock, 9:30, whereas in person it's like you're probably not willing to do that.
I think that's the biggest difference is you are right. You get instant feedback, but when you're working with someone in person, you typically see them 1 hour a week. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, you do get maybe that kind of like good gratification right away, but dude, like it's just so inconsistent. When I was working with guys in person only, I would ask them every week, what did we work on last week? Just so I knew as a coach, because I'm working with so many guys, like I don't really
Yeah.
remember what I did with little Johnny last Saturday. And every time they'd be like, I don't remember. Did we do blocking? And I was like, how do you not remember? You're the one who's doing it. And it made me realize, like, dude, they're not doing any of this on their own time. And that because they don't even remember the directives I gave them to do throughout the week to work on that stuff. And that's where I'm like, man, they need accountability. They need to be doing things each day and take it serious. So that's a big heavy hitter, I think, with remote. That's just awesome. Is being able to use technology to the advantage
Yeah.
for, just daily evaluation, man.
Yeah.
All right, what would you say to someone on the fence right now? Someone that's watched it this far in and is still on the fence. What do you have to say to them in a quick sentence or two?
Uh, I mean, I'd probably just ask him a question, why are you still on the fence? Because I feel like, I mean, at this point, this is, I, if it were me, I'd hear everything I needed to hear.
100%, dude. I mean, especially with your journey specifically, being a kid who was able to, dude, you were not even catching in high school until your senior year, and now you have some really good JUCO offers. And we're pretty much just waiting for you to commit, which is
Yeah.
like the coolest part.
Yeah.
Um, and we want to be honest about that. But dude, like the fact that your recruiting process got going so late, especially because you don't want to be recruited as a third baseman and you hadn't caught on varsity yet. And then now, like, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you're exactly where we hoped you would be after going through the program because I ask each kid before they get in, like, what's your ideal goal? What's your dream? And like, what's your short-term goal? And for you, you're just like, I wanna play on varsity and have a really good season, and then go to the college level. And dude, you're just like so close to all that.
Yeah.
You had a good season, so I think it's insane. I know it's hard for someone to watch this and understand where you were, but to see it come to life is so cool, dude.
Yeah. It went from, I mean, I caught one game my junior year just because our starter was sick and balled out, but it's like, I mean, I kind of look back, I think about this a lot. It's like, I know. So the catcher, just for a little context, catcher, when I came into high school, he came in like day one of his freshman year, basically, and was starting. And so he graduated the year before me, and I kind of knew there probably wasn't going to be a shot there. But I came in, caught one game. But I always think about like, why didn't I get more of a shot after I came in and balled out in one game? It's like coaches always say, you get your one opportunity, don't waste it. That is a big thing I'd say. If you get one opportunity like that, don't waste it.
100%. And dude, that's so cool for you to say because I think a lot of players they focus on how they're getting screwed over right now by their coach, how they're not happy where they are. And it's like, dude, at some point he's going to put you in and you're either going to complain and say, well, I haven't had that much playing time. That's why I messed up. Or you control what you can control. You find a coach, you work on your stuff. And then when he puts you in, you have the best opportunity and best chance to do good. And if he doesn't play you after that, at least you can look in the mirror and say, I gave it my all. And then you did that and then came back the whole next season and played every day. So, I mean, you did technically get a shot, which was cool. So maybe that is what the coach needed to see for
Yeah.
you to go forward. But no, dude, I think I also want to take time to explain how cool it was to work with you because you definitely came to me at a point where the program was really ramping up. You were one of the first kids in this new phase I was doing of working with guys for like 6 months straight, and I was just like, let's do it. And I truly believed I could help you, man. And the fact that you actually got those results is awesome because of the relationship we built. I feel like you were able to be really honest with me. I was able to be honest with you. And I think of you as like a friend, as crazy
Yeah.
as that is, even though like it's coach and player, but it's like, no, you're a really cool kid and it's awesome. And I'm excited to see where your journey takes you. And the results are just so cool. And I guess I just wanted to open it up for anything else you wanted to say about the program, working with me, any results you saw, just anything else before we finish up here soon.
Final comments I'd say is just like the work you put into the program definitely shows. Like all your hard work with setting up the program, do it, and then continuing to run it. It's just like it shows. Your dedication to us as the players is just insane, and I appreciate that so much. And also, on that note, is like catchers getting into the program, the work you put in is what you'll get out. I mean, I don't want to be I don't want to be that guy, but I mean, I'm kind of a pretty good example of that. The work I put in this last winter and fall, it showed and paid off.
I love that you just said that. I tell every player that like wants to get in the program or does, I'm always like, and especially to the parents, I'm like, dude, I don't guarantee any result, like specific one. The only thing I do guarantee is that if you work with me, you're going to be further along towards your goal and dream than if you didn't. But how far you go is on you. So you can get better than where you were by working with me a little bit. I guarantee you will, 100%. Or there's kids in the program like you that take it so serious and they make like a crazy jump. And that's all dependent on how serious you take it. And dude, I appreciate that. I hope I was able to have a positive impact on your career, dude.
Yeah, you had an impact on my career, on my life, like I I don't mean to say this to be cliche, but I literally would not be where I am sitting here with college offers without you. Like if I didn't meet you, I was so hesitant to send you a DM at first. If I like I'm one click away from just sitting here offerless, honestly.
That speaks to so many people. And I hope whoever's watching this just understand, reach out. Okay. Reach out because that's what Nate did. He found me on Instagram. He reached out. I was like, who's this guy with this long, goofy last name? No, but I enjoyed chatting with you. And then I literally was like, okay, I want to show you what I have, how I help guys. Let's get on a call. And you and your dad and I had a good conversation and we just went over where you were and what you needed help with. And I was like, yes, I can definitely work with you on that. And then even though you were skeptical, you decided to commit. And it sounds like you're thanking yourself for it, dude, which is just so cool, man.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not on me as a coach. I'm not trying to brag. Like every player that comes in, it's me who does it. I mean, a lot of it is God, right? Because the faith you had as well, which was awesome. You believed in yourself. I believed in you. I would definitely pray like, hey, show me how to lead this kid. Especially like on our group calls, like for every kid, I'm just like, everyone's so different. But also, dude, you were the one who put in the work each day. You're the one who followed the outline, who sent me evaluations, who played in the actual games. I was just a guide. And yes, it's extremely effective, but dude, you should congratulate yourself too, because having that good of a senior year when your back is up against the wall is so stressful. But you found a different mode and you were able to make it happen, dude. And you're going to continue to play. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. What else do you got? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, I was just following God's plan. Like he has a plan for me. I I didn't know what it was, but I'm following along. Still don't know. I through the highs and lows of the season, like I definitely had some really good points and I had some pretty bad points. And no matter what it was like I put my head down, went back to work the next day, and it's like saw that plan, saw that focus process, knew what I did wrong, got to fix it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just God's plan. I'm on his path.
Amen, bro. I love that. And I hope that speaks to some Christian athletes as well, is the faith Nate had too. Very steadfast. Definitely going forward in his career, knowing that there was a bigger purpose. And I feel like you were really present in where you were each day. That was something that was really cool. I think kids in your position freak out and they're like, oh my gosh, I have no offers yet. And then now that you do have offers, they're like, well, I haven't officially signed yet, and we're able to celebrate the fact that you do have options. That is a blessing. You're going to be playing somewhere in the fall and in the spring next year in college, and that's just awesome. And all glory to God, all praise there. Uh, but dude, I just want to say how much fun it was working with you. I know we're gonna continue to go forward and keep that relationship, dude. One thing cool is Nate is from Oregon. I live in Denver, and he's actually visiting family in Denver, I believe, next week. So I'm gonna meet up with him in person. And that's just something cool I like to do with my remote dudes when I can. I met up with another player from Phoenix. He was visiting Denver last year, met with him and his family, and it's just so cool to meet guys that you work with remotely, and then you're able to see them in person, and it's just awesome. It's really cool. So even though we're on a screen, we're both humans and we're both friends, and it's gonna be cool to connect. I'm really looking forward to it. Maybe even getting some work in. So um, yeah, super stoked, dude. If there's nothing else you want to say, I just want to thank you for your time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So for anyone watching this who is stuck to the end, I just want to give you a little rundown of your next steps. If you are curious, if maybe you're still skeptical, like Nate was, of some of the things you could do, I'm going to put a link below in my description. This is so you can check out my website and go ahead and watch the video there. This gives you um, an in-depth evaluation of what the program looks like so you can understand exactly the stuff Nate and I just talked about and how this would work for you. It's about 5 minutes long. Go ahead and watch that. Afterwards, you can book a call with me. I actually want one of your parents there. So you, me, and a parent. We're just gonna talk about where you are, how I can help you, things like that. Yes, this is a free call. Nate did this with me as well. If you've been watching me on Instagram, send me a DM, reach out. But there's multiple ways for you to chat with me, and then we can kind of talk on that call, see where you are, even give you a little evaluation of what I think and how I can help you. Okay. So those are your next steps. And that's the same exact thing that Nate did in order to invest in his career and, really have that spark he needed right before senior year. So, Nate, thank you again. I think this is going to speak to many, dude, and a lot of people are going to enjoy your journey and story. So, thank you so much, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.